Hey guys, how's it going and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be starting a brand new series here on my channel called Getting Started. So this series is going to be for people who are new to training and new to trying to understand nutrition. So people that aren't really sure how to eat and how to train to achieve their goals. So I got inspiration from a DM that I got saying that they love my channel, they love my content, but for complete beginners, my content isn't the best, and I do agree. A lot of the time my content is geared towards people that have more experience in lifting and nutrition. So today's episode number 1 of my Getting Started series, and we're going to be covering the fundamentals of training. So if I ever look down, it's because I have my laptop right here with some notes, so bear with me, but yeah, let's just get straight into it. Alright, so we're going to be talking about how to start lifting weights today. Now first, you might be wondering why lift weights. So if you're watching this, you probably want to achieve a more toned look, although I hate that word, but meaning you want more shape, more definitions, and an overall really nice muscular look. So lifting weights will give that stimulus to your muscles that is needed in order for them to grow. So what happens when you lift weights is you're breaking down those muscle fibers of your muscles, which will force them to grow back bigger and stronger as your muscles recover. This basically originates from our survival mechanism. When your muscles undergo a certain amount of stress, they will adapt and grow back bigger in order to be able to overcome that stress time and time again, which is why lifting weights is so perfect for achieving this stimulus. So now you know that if you want to achieve that look, you need to be lifting weights. So a quick disclaimer, especially if you are a girl watching this video, please do not think that lifting weights is gonna make you too big or too bulky, because that is not gonna happen. If you're a girl, you do not have enough testosterone in your body for that to happen, so don't you worry. I've been lifting weights for over 2 years now. I'm a relatively petite girl. I'm 5'6" and about 120 pounds or 55 kilograms, which is pretty petite, and I'm trying to gain even more muscle, so it's not easy. Okay, and if you're a guy, sure, even if you want to get hench, it's gonna take years of lifting, even though you do have a lot of testosterone. So just get that out of your head, get that fear out of your head. You are not gonna get too bulky if you start lifting weights. Alright, so let's start with how often should you be training and for how long. And this is where 2 key variables come into play: frequency and volume. So let's start with frequency. Frequency can be defined as the number of times you do something within a certain period of time. So for convenience sake, let's say that our period of time is 1 week. How many times should you be training a specific body part per week? So according to science and research, training a body part twice a week is more effective than training a body part once a week, even though the amount of work that you're doing stays the same. So let's say you're doing 16 sets of chest on one day. If you do 2 chest days with 8 sets and 8 sets, even though you're doing the same number of sets, the overall amount of muscle you can gain from training more frequently than only once a week is better. So I would recommend training each body part twice a week. However, there's no research that proves that more than twice a week is that much better than twice. So I would just stick to twice a week if you are a beginner. Now that leads us to how much should you be doing. So this is the concept of volume. So again, there's no exact number when it comes to volume, but I would recommend doing anywhere between 15 to 20 sets per muscle group per week, spread out over 2 workouts. So that means anywhere between 7 to 10 sets per muscle group per workout. Now when I say sets, I mean working sets, and a working set means that the set is hard, that at the end of that set you feel maybe you had between 0 and 2 reps left in the tank with the weight that you're using. If at the end of that set you feel you could have done 5 or 10 or 20 more reps, the weight was way too light, so you need to up the weight for the next set and then try and go as close to failure as you can. Which brings us to another variable, which is how many reps should you be doing for hypertrophy. So generally, the lower the reps you do, the more the closer you are to training for strength, and then the higher you go with reps, the more you're training for endurance. Now there's a middle ground, which are the reps that we would use for hypertrophy, and that is between 8 to 20 reps. So if you're a complete beginner, I would literally just stick to 10 to 15 reps to get that volume in, accumulate as much volume in as you can. And also, if you go too heavy too early earlier, your form can break down. So sticking to lighter weights for 15 reps can really help you practice the movements more and get used to them, and also get a more beneficial workout in. Now, in terms of exercise selection, we can distinguish two different types of exercises. We have our compound exercises and then our isolation exercises. So compounds are exercises that require you to use more than one joint. An example can be a squat, a deadlift, a bench press, for example, or even a shoulder press. Those are all compound lifts. So for example, if I'm doing a shoulder press right here, I have my shoulder joint that's moving, but also my elbow joint. So it's a multi-joint movement, and that's why it's called a compound lift. Isolation exercises are like single joint exercises, so it's only one joint that's moving. So here, I'm mimicking a bicep curl because it's just at my elbow that I'm moving. And isolation exercises tend to isolate just one muscle in particular, or one part of a muscle group in particular as well. So how should you balance out these two kinds of exercises? I recommend starting with your compound lifts in your workout because they are a lot more difficult, and then moving on to your isolations left. So I would do 1 to 2 of each, 1 to 2 compounds and 1 to 2 isolation exercises per workout for 3 to 4 sets each. So the reason why I say to start with your compounds first is that they require a lot more energy, they're a lot more taxing on your body, so definitely start with those first. And also with compounds, you can stick to a lower rep range between like 8 to 10, and then when you go with those isolation exercises, I would do way more reps, like 10 to 20 reps. And in terms of how close you go to failure, with your compounds, because they are a lot heavier on your body, they can elicit a higher risk. So I wouldn't recommend going to complete failure on like a squat or a deadlift or something. Always leave a couple of reps in the tank. However, if you're doing isolation exercises where the risk of injury is quite low, you can lower the weight and do like 15 to 20 reps all out to the max to failure. So with all this information I just gave you guys, how would you translate all that into a training plan? So I'm going to give you guys a couple of templates so you guys can get started as soon as possible. So if you're a complete beginner, I would not recommend just throwing yourself in the gym 5 to 6 to 7 times a week. Even that is way too much, and you're going to be setting yourself up for failure. So what I would recommend, if you are just getting started, to train 3 to 4 times a week in the gym. So if you're going to do a 3-day split, I would recommend doing a full body split 3 times a week, making sure you have at least 1 day in between to recover. Now if you are going to be training 4 times a week, that's when I would switch to an upper-lower split. So lower body, upper body rest, lower body, upper body, and then 2 rest days, and that is your week. So I will leave some templates in the description down below that are super basic. Again, I'm gonna give you guys like a generalized blanket approach just because as a beginner you don't have any lagging body parts yet, and you want to learn the basics and learn which exercises work for you. Obviously for more advanced people that have more specific goals, these training plans are not going to be suitable, and if you're looking for a training plan that's specific to you and your goals, I do offer online coaching, so just email me or DM me on my Instagram. It's just at @AviaLifts. But yeah, I'll be leaving those basic templates in the description down below. And yeah, that is it for today's video, guys. So just to recap everything we talked about why you should be lifting weights to achieve your goals, how often should you be training each body part, how much should you be doing for each body part, that's the volume aspect that we covered, how many sets you should be doing, how many reps you should be doing, how close to failure you should be going, and as well as exercise selection. So those are our compound lifts and our isolation exercises. So yeah, obviously don't take this as like this is a personal approach. It really isn't. It's more like of a generalized approach for everyone to just get started. If you have any questions, as usual, leave it in a comment down below. Subscribe for more episodes of the series to come and for all the content that I love to post here on my YouTube. And until next time, bye guys!